I'm Ryan Manchee with Basis Technologies, and we are talking marketing inspiration and advertising innovation. And I'm joined by Liz with IHG. Liz, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role?
Yeah, sure. Liz Crisafi, as you said, I've been with IHG for about 9 years now. And I lead our integrated marketing team. So working across our brands, our master brand, which is basically IHG, and then working, to promote our loyalty program and newly reinvented loyalty program at that, as well as just making sure IHG shows up at the right time at the right place when you're ready to book a hotel room.
I love it. I love it. I feel like it's difficult to not talk about the transformative last several years, especially for the travel industry. But
Yeah.
you feel like things have kind of settled out a little bit and feeling good.
Yeah, well, I mean, travel is it's such an interesting industry to be in because we continue to evolve and it's very disruptive at times. I think the way that we navigate is that we're very agile to look at both the long term and the short term because as with everything, you never know what's around the corner. And like right now between global crisis or headwinds in the economy or government shutdowns, all of those things, like you have to be able to react to what's happening with demand in the market. But I love travel and hospitality, so it's fun to stay on top of whatever's happening next.
Yeah, it's exciting, and I feel like IHG was already a incredible global brand, but continued to just grow globally.
Yeah.
From a marketing perspective, how does that factor in? How do you approach that from a strategic side? Thinking about creating those connections with all those different consumers, all those different guests that are out there, with so many different types of cultures as well.
Yeah, it's very complex and very diverse because we have 19 brands for every stay occasion, and then over 100 countries, 6,000 destinations around the world. And as we create global campaigns, we have to think about how do we create consistency, obviously, with everything that we're doing, but also local relevancy. And it's so important to really resonate and be relevant and personalized for each market so that you are not tone deaf if something's happening in that region or that market, as well as just creating real human connections. I mean, we're in hospitality. That's our business, is to make sure people feel, cared for, that they have a sense of belonging. And it's, for us, that's how our brand is, and that's how our marketing needs to show up.
Love that. I love that. And when you think about the kind of guest experience, you mentioned consistency. I feel like it's a big piece of it, and being welcoming, just kind of inherently within the hospitality industry. But how do you think about and how does marketing play a role in messaging what that guest experience is, and how does that differ between when you think about that kind of first-time visitor, maybe first time walking into an Indigo, the kind of casual loyalist, to the fully committed, the diamond elites of the world?
Yes.
What does that look like? How do you kind of think through those different types of experiences?
Well, you have to think of it as like a relationship, right? It's when you think about you're dating somebody for the first time, you want to get to know them. So as somebody is the first time coming into one of our properties or signing up for the loyalty program, that they need to get to know us and we need to get to know them. And so there is a little bit of a value exchange, to understand exactly what's going to resonate with you, what are you looking for out of the relationship, and then we can serve back to you the best offers or the best recommendations on which brands or which destinations to stay at. And then you think about the next phase, like you've been dating for a while, maybe you haven't seen each other. It's like seeing somebody after a couple months. You want to welcome them back, right? So that they feel like you miss them, that you are excited that they chose the brand and the hotel. And for us, it's really important to have those key moments that matter. All the way up until the diamond elites of the world, we need to know when your birthday is, what you like, the types of things that you want to have choice on, and create really bespoke, personalized experiences for those extremely loyal guests who come in our doors over and over again. In fact, they're is someone that I ran into that is staying at one of our Kimptons around the corner that stays in that hotel like over 200 days a year. It's like her second home. And so the bartenders know her, like she gets her same room. And so, when you think about that, it's like getting to know you on that personal level is really important.
I love that, and I've experienced that as well.
Okay.
Walking into the Gray in Chicago, and they say, "Welcome back, Mr. Manchee." It's definitely very special.
It's like Norm when you walk in, right? Everybody knows your name, and so
yeah, exactly. And I think with that, you talk about knowing for some of the loyalists of the birthdays and some of that information. I feel like you sit on a lot of incredible information. What I would almost consider the kind of like the small data about people. How do you, from a marketing perspective, how do you utilize some of that information that you have about the guests to be able to inform future campaigns, initiatives, what that experience may be on a larger scale, as well as the kind of individualized scales? I guess I'm thinking more of like the kind of personalized marketing. How does that inform some of that?
Well, I mean, data definitely helps inspire some of our recommendations or how we think about going to market with most relevant offers and even recommendations on types of travel. If you're looking for a global bucket list worthy experience versus you're just looking to, go to the beach and take your family for a short weekend, understanding, what your past behaviors have been are an important piece of it, but it's not the only piece. It is very much a relationship of also understanding where you're going, what you're looking for, and you're going to have different travel needs across, your experiences at IHG. And so we have to make sure that we're very relevant in the moment and data inspired, but not too much where it feels creepy. Or B is I'm only looking at your past history because that is not, you may have gone to Chicago that one time, or you may have had an experience in that one city, but you're never planning to go back there. And if we keep sending you, come back to Chicago, and you're like, I just went there once, it can actually turn you off. So we have to have the balance of almost a co-created relationship. So you tell us what you want, and then we can also make sure that we serve you something that will give you a better guest experience when you show up.
I love that. You talked about the kind of rewards and loyalty program and kind of the revamping of that. Can you talk a little bit more about kind of that process, that rollout? I feel like I cannot go to an airport and not see an IHG ad, an out-of-home ad. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I feel like and it's not new that y'all have rolled out the program.
No.
But I feel like have been very strong in market this year from a paid advertising perspective and being able to talk up not only the kind of overarching brand, but the individual brands that are available, and really, I think, talking up the loyalty program.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Is that am I reading that right as a consumer, as a guest, that y'all have been intentionally strong this year?
Well, yes, I think we have always been intentionally strong in other areas. I think, but with the reimagined loyalty program and really creating something that is not only leveraging our strength over the last several years, because we've had a loyalty program for a while, but reimagining it in a way that we're listening to our customers, what they want, what they expect from us, the level of choice, and also kind of appealing to a next generation of travelers in a way that helps them also understand the types of great experiences that they can have on our properties. I would say that, what we're doing more so now is really highlighting IHG hotels and resorts and the loyalty program so that we can continue to be relevant and create brand awareness within those, opportunities and those channels. But it's also about promoting our most beloved brands. And so, how we do that needs to come to life in different disruptive ways. And so airport is a great example of what we've been doing, as well as college football. which I know it seems like what's old is new again, of like going in and buying traditional spots with, college football. But that is speaking to that next generation. It's also really highlighting advocate fans that aren't going to necessarily, skip the commercials and really have that non-skippable moment and engagement with those customers.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think another big area. I actually saw just this last weekend the college football tie-in, so that was fun. But also festivals and sports championships. Talk about that a little bit. Is that just more focused on driving more of those driving more of the awareness? Because it's really creating unique experiences. At least what I've seen. From all the social channels, it seems to be very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, awareness is absolutely part of it, and we definitely want that to ensure that we're top of mind in these cultural moments that really are these tentpole events. But more importantly, it's also about creating these pieces of choice with loyalty programs, so that you can earn and redeem your points for what you want. And sometimes it's a hotel stay, but sometimes it may be going to Lollapalooza, or it may be going to Governor's Ball, or maybe going to the U.S. Open. And being able to have those incredible experiences that you can leverage and feel value for what you're getting back and choosing IHG brands. And I think it's really been a game changer for us. And you're going to continue to see more of that.
Love that. So we talked a little bit about just what I would say gold mine. Maybe it doesn't feel that way to you, but like from an outside perspective, it was like gold mine of data that you all sit on, and you don't want to be creepy. But how does that data play not only from the kind of media decisioning, but also informing some of the creative experiences, maybe specifically in like the advertising space? Are there different things that you have done that have helped the kind of creative messaging side of it versus the kind of media placement?
Yeah, I mean, it's not new to what we're doing. It's something that we all have to think about is channel first and being really relevant for making sure you're telling the right story in the right way in a channel first approach. So as an example, in years past, you would create like a campaign, and you would start with a TV spot, and then you would do some cut downs that you would put into social, and then it would just be the same message, but like cut into pieces or told in slightly different ways across your integrated media mix. I think for now, and where we're really seeing this opportunity, especially when you think about brand awareness, it's not just about TV, it's not just about airport, but it's about how you're reaching that next generation with social conversations that may be more from our influencers or guests telling our story versus us telling or trying to give our message. And I think that as we are working through the right creative mix, it has to be something that is authentic and relevant for that channel.
Yeah, and you mentioned influencers. Is that an area that helps kind of lend additional credibility? Have you've seen good success with influencers?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, everybody's an influencer.
Yeah, sure.
And so, I mean, there are opportunities for us to leverage even just, the user-generated organic content as much as it is the people who have, tens of thousands, millions of followers, to make sure that, when you think about hotels and hospitality and all of our brands, you want to see it and experience it and understand like what makes a Kempton different, what makes a Hotel Indigo different, what makes even the Holiday Inn Express advocates who love going and getting the pancake machine and the cinnamon rolls. We've got an influencer who's a sports dad, and people follow him because he's funny and he's relevant, and anybody who has kids who play baseball and do traveling baseball know exactly what he, deals with. And he tells the kids not to go directly to the cinnamon rolls first, but like they have to get the protein and the meat first. And it's funny because it's real life, and it's very specific to our brand and our culture and our purpose, as well as how our guests experience our brand every day. So influencers are critical to help us tell that story versus us just, creating marketing.
I love that. What about other ways to differentiate between all the different brands? Because at a certain level, you almost as a guest, right? There's almost competition between the different brands when I go to book. Does it not really matter as long as it's in the IHG portfolio? You're happy with the booking. I guess I'm trying to understand like the approach of how do you make sure that you're not competing with yourself with some of the different marketing messages, some of the different advertising maybe out in the market.
Yeah, as we think about all of our brands, I think for us especially, our brands have very different experiences, different needs, depending on what you're traveling for. And so we're very intentional about highlighting what is unique and special about each brand. And then you can choose which one best suits your need. Again, whether you're traveling dad for baseball or whether you're going on a business trip or whether you're going on a special bucket list, experience, then you can choose what you're looking for. And we're just being really clear and transparent with the types of experiences. And I love all of our brands equally. I have to say that. So we're always, trying to make sure that you understand the differences of them. But some of them are more well known than others, and so we have to balance, like making sure that we're driving awareness for maybe some of the lesser known brands versus the ones that have, a long history and experience, like Holiday Inn Express.
I love that. Is there an emerging technology that you feel like may be a little overblown? It could be a consumer technology, it could be in the ad tech or martech space. Anything that kind of stands out that you feel like, all right, there's a little too much hype around this?
It's like with everything. There's always going to be the shiny new tool or technology, and everybody's going to talk about it and get really excited, and then it's going to become either part of your MarTech, stack and how you go to market, or it's going to be something that's not really relevant for your business. And so for us, certainly Gen AI is, the hottest new topic right now, and it's exciting, and yet we all have to figure out how to harness it in the right way. Because we have global brands in every market and the language, it can help us with, as we start thinking about the complexity and localization, the versioning of all of the different stay experiences that we talked about. So we have to figure out how to leverage it, but not in a way that doesn't really have that human connection and create that emotional connection that we've talked about. So I think there's something there, but the hype, or is it just become another tool in your toolbox? We'll all work through that together.
Still experimentation stage.
Yes.
Still experimentation stage for
Yes.
IHG with AI, but some good promise, it sounds like.
Yeah, and listen, I worked for Kodak the early part of my career, and I love, the experiences that I had there, and they're making a resurgence. But that's one company as an example of you can't ignore technology either. You've got to figure out how to think about how it could morph or change your business, as well as how do you leverage it to think differently about how you go to market. And so we're constantly testing and learning, which is really exciting.
Yeah, it's great. I feel like one of my favorite examples I'll share with you that IHG did kind of through the pandemic, kind of the tail end of it, but that ability to kind of encourage this idea that you can go on vacation, but you can also work, and making sure that, we've got a desk in the room, but we're actually going to provide a really great experience.
Yes.
And being able to kind of like marry that. And I think as more folks, sure, there's more people returning to the office, but a little bit more flexibility with it. I feel like you did a fantastic job of kind of encouraging that.
Yes. We did a whole white paper on blended travel and just that experience. Crown Plaza is a great example of that brand, where it does give you a little bit more so that you can have both a leisure and a business experience in the room. So you don't have to sit on, the Zoom call with, just the bed in the background. Like you can actually, have some space to do work and also, have that great kind of work-life balance.
Yeah, it's very nice, very nice. All right. Two final questions for you. I think we'll see. Maybe another will creep up. But we talk about all the technology challenges within the maybe let's just say kind of marketing industry, not even hospitality industry. But if you had a magic wand and you could fix one thing within the industry, within kind of marketing, technology, all that, what would be that one thing that you'd want to fix?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that for us, it's really about delivering great hospitality every day. And the opportunity for us to make sure that the guest experience on property really delivers on that. Technology is an opportunity, as well as making sure that the staff, knows how to use that, especially with, a team that is constantly changing. And, I think every industry right now is having staffing challenges, and we want to make sure that everybody knows that IHG is a great place to work. It's a great place to stay, and it's a great place to navigate your career, whether you start at the front desk or you work all the way into general manager or to corporate. I think that once people really understand the opportunity, then they become part of the family, and if they feel the pride in IHG, then they can continue to deliver those great experiences to our guests. So it's more of like creating this community of network of employees across so many different hotels around the world.
I love it. That's great. All right, last question. Favorite IHG property, and I guess maybe I'll do two parts. So favorite IHG property, and then also the one that's on your bucket list.
Oh, okay. Well, the last one's probably the easier one. My favorite property, there's so many, but I'll just use the one I went to recently, which was the Kempton in Tokyo. It was just an incredible hotel and experience. The restaurant was probably the best restaurant I went to in Tokyo, and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, but it was just the service, the level of thoughtfulness, and how they brought to life elements of the Tokyo culture, and it was just all around one of my favorites recently. There's so many great properties around the world, from our Six Senses properties that are like the one in Bhutan is on my bucket list, definitely. And then, intercontinental we just opened a Hotel Indigo in the Galapagos. There's too many places and not enough time is basically my answer.
Amazing. All right. Well, I will add Tokyo to my list. That's one Kempton I've not been to yet.
There you go. It's a great one.
But we'll be excited about that. But Liz, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for sharing your insights.
Thank you.
Getting a peek under the hood that makes the magic that is IHG.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.